Alrighty, the gang is all here. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Dom and Gon Sports Talk, where we talk not only about the Ravens, but what's going on around the NFL. Ravens preseason game one is in the books. There's a lot to discuss, a lot of things to dissect, a lot of people to check on after the game. We're going to get into all of that. Gonz, how you feeling this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. It was cool to watch our team for the first time, but, a couple concerns coming out of that game.
A little more than a
Not
couple,
with the
but we're going to
play,
dive in.
but with some injuries that I'm a little worked up, a little concerned about. So hopefully everybody's going to be all right. But let's go ahead and get started.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so guys, for those of you who might not know, or those of you who might not be able to catch it on Friday, the Ravens did take on the Philadelphia Eagles at M&T Bank Stadium. Josh Johnson did start in the first quarter. Actually, didn't he play pretty much the whole first half? Or am I
Whole first
speaking?
half
Yes,
and into the second half,
yes.
which
So
was
he did
yeah.
pretty much start for almost majority of the game. Um, Once he was finished with his reps, Devin Leary came in, did his reps, and then we ended the game with Emory Jones. Now, I kind of want to just dive in, get right into that first quarter. Gonz, give me your thoughts. What were some of your observations that you saw? What are some things you liked? What are some things you didn't like?
Well, if we're starting from the first quarter, while the Ravens' offense was almost non-existent, aside from two big plays from Owen Wright, somebody who I talked about, the defense was the star of the show for the for the most part, especially Nate Wiggins in particular, who had two pass breakups on the very first drive and single-handedly stopped Kenny Pickett and the Eagles on downs, and they're deep in their territory. So that was pretty cool to see. Nate Wiggins really just blast off from the start, very first drive. So that was fun to see. But yeah, I thought the defense did a pretty nice job. These young guys, obviously not much pressure on the quarterback, but I thought the people who counted. We also saw a lot of not people who counted. That's a poor way to put it, but the people who we were looking for, people who are supposed to be valuable starters for us this year, aka Trenton Simpson, also played well. So I thought that Wiggins and Simpson just took the lead on this whole night for defense. I mean, Simpson had 8 tackles, and Wiggins just absolutely dominated for the most part, but especially that first quarter. So hats off to the defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't deny anything you just said. Nate Wiggins just erupted off pretty much the very first possession for the opposition. 3 pass breakups, literally back to back to back. They tried him. They tested him each and every time, and he passed that test with flying colors. It was very beautiful to see out there. Another person, like you said, the name you mentioned, Trenton Simpson, the first time he ever wore the green dot out there on the field, and I feel like he did a stupendous job carrying that load. 11 total tackles, 5 solo. I mean, he was reading the runs very, very well. And the best thing about it is at the end of the game, he said that, dude, I could get even better. I feel like I didn't even play to my best. And I feel
Love it.
like he was one of the better players out there. So I love that accountability for him, and I'm hoping that he can continue to progress. Mind you, he wasn't even out there with Roquan yet. So Lord knows what
Mm-hmm.
that force is going to be like once he's out there with Roquan. Like you said, in the first quarter, lackadaisical offensively, wasn't really much going on. I mean, Josh Johnson's performance, I mean, I feel like with his play,
We
we just
predicted
have
that.
to we did predict that. But with Josh Johnson, I'm just gonna we just have to pray that Lamar Jackson is 100% all season because I just feel as though with the way he was playing in that first quarter, going into the second quarter, I didn't really see a lot of flashes from him. I mean, it wasn't great what I saw, and I don't want to overreact because it was only the first game. I mean, the Eagles are a pretty tough team. Second stringers, third stringers are not. They're very well coached and put together, so I can't really get at it for that. But I mean, man, when you look for at least consistent play, not saying you have to be out there and be Lamar 2.0 if he's not being able to get out there. But I mean, man, I just hope that you can just get consistent enough to be able to get the ball where it needs to be. I'm not saying throw it 30 yards down the field, but if you can dip it and dunk it, get those easy gains, chew the clock,
Mm-hmm.
keep that game on our side, it helps. And, like you said, it was a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of punts. We did see kickoff in action for our special teams. I thought they handled that relatively decent. There were some runs that could have almost been taken to the house by the Eagles, but we were able to get that stop. But yeah, in that first quarter, offensively, it worried me. Defensively, for me, it's like, I feel like they did their job. But I feel like on the defensive line, I didn't see a lot of guys who were really like getting out there. You know what I mean? I mean, we saw Tavius Robinson out there. I know it's another name we said we were going to be looking out for. I believe Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, and then we also learned that Ojabo isn't even cleared to play yet. He's not cleared to have any game time. So, I didn't really, the D-line, I know there weren't the starters, so I'm not going to really startle myself just yet. But, I didn't really see a lot of pressure in there. We only had, I think 2 sacks in the whole game. So, I think in that first quarter, we didn't really get our first points until – actually, no. Because we kicked the field goal in the first quarter.
We did. We got a field goal on our first drive.
Then we kicked the field goal in the second quarter to make it 6-6 before halftime. Second quarter was pretty much the same. Again, lackadaisical offense, lackadaisical defense. I mean, no, the defense was great, lackadaisical offense. Yeah. It was very, very terrible. I feel like we didn't really get any good action until after halftime.
Yeah.
It was,
I don't know. But once again, though, I don't care too. I'm not going to focus too much on the game, on this, the play of the defenders and the play of the, our team, because this is preseason. And Josh Johnson. This is why he's a backup. I mean, this is why he's not a starter. He's not capable of carrying teams to playoff victories or whatever, or full seasons. So yeah, this is why he's a backup. He's supposed to come in there and make a play or two or finish the game out if it's a blowout. So I'm not worked up about it, and I'm sure he'll have a better game probably the next week. But I'm not too worried about it. And then the pressure, you said, we were saying this last year in the preseason, and then we led the league in sacks. So I'm not going to get worked up about it until this is regular season, and then that happens. That's when I'll start hitting the panic button. But I'm not going to hit any of that yet. No, but everything that you said was correct. Yes, there was no pressure. The people were struggling to get off blocks. Eagles were just pushing the line of scrimmage in their favor on both sides of the ball for the most part. So good job by their young team. But yeah, again, I'm not going to get worked up about it. So we'll see. And like we said, he should have a better game next week.
I mean,
the important part is that we saw Trenton Simpson, like you, take off and then say that, I can even improve even more. So that's really great to hear. I'm excited about that. But Nate Wiggins, I thought, was in the game way too long. Why is he playing all the entire half and then into the third quarter? I mean, does he need to be out? I mean, he literally single-handedly stopped the Eagles in their first drive with most of their starters in. I mean, well, maybe not offensively, but still, that was like the Eagles' starters for that game. For this preseason game, that was the starting lineup. Kenny Pickett was a starting quarterback for the Steelers for the past 2 years. So being able to just knock down both of his passes, I don't really think you needed to see much more. I really don't understand why they kept him in that long for him to have a chance to be injured. I mean, if you remember last year in the Commanders game, we saw Zay Flowers one drive, our first-round pick of 2 years ago, play one drive, go off, get a touchdown, and they took him out. Why do you have to keep him in that long? What else does he need to show you? I mean, I understand maybe the first quarter, but all the way into the third quarter is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
For a preseason game, for a guy drafted that high with that much value, I don't agree. I don't agree with whatever the coaching staff was doing. And then sure enough, he got hurt.
Yeah, it's very suspicious for him to be in for that long. I mean, like you said, he was showing off his skills pretty much that whole first half. He was pretty much locked down for while he was out there. I don't understand why you have him out for that whole first half. But, I mean, luckily, reports are saying that he might have avoided a very significant injury.
I was just looking at that today that the Ravens are optimistic he avoided a significant injury.
So he should be good to go
for week. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm that's great to hear.
Let's time to see. This is why we don't play starters in the preseason, Don. This is exactly why.
Hey, man, I'm gonna stand on it. I mean, okay, I understand
but I think
to your point. Yeah, exactly. To your point, he was out there longer than he should have been. What I've been saying about playing the starters is if you're gonna play them a quarter, get them into the game speed for a quarter, then you can yank them out. I have no problem with them playing just a quarter. That's cool with me. I'm just saying if they're gonna if they do play them a quarter. Like you said, he was out there almost into pretty much after the second
even
half, after the first half.
yeah, I agree. But like, if you go off and single-handedly just stop a drive, what else do you need to see for the night? I mean, get him back out there for
I
week
get that
two.
too.
Yeah.
I get that too. And I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm happy he was I'm happy that he was out there.
Oh yeah,
Let's just get that out of the way right now. I'm happy that he was out there. I'm happy that he showcased what he can do in one-on-one coverage. I mean, his closeout speed is absolutely bonkers. Let's just literally he on a comeback route, dude. I forgot. I apologize to the Eagle who I don't know your name, but you know what I mean. Like
John Ross, wasn't it?
Was it really John Ross?
Somebody named Ross, 83.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not entirely sure,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, on a comeback route, Wiggins stutter steps, get back, swat the ball out. You know what I mean? Like his closeout speed, he was able to get to the ball very, very fast. I have no problem with him showcasing that. But like we discussed, I mean, what else did he have to do? He did what he had to do. He was locked down. Take him out of the game. I mean, I don't get what else. Like my whole philosophy with playing the starters is let them be out there for a quarter. Let them get into game speed. Let them what I'm saying, so we can knock partially the rust off going into week one. And then, that's it. And I also agree with you on the fact that, I wouldn't mind waiting for it until preseason week 3 on the last preseason game, to get right into it. And then I don't know how long we would have after the fact until week 1 starts, but that would help them, what I'm saying, get ready for Mahomes. Because again, we're playing Patrick freaking Mahomes week 1 in Kansas City. So that was my only take on the starters playing. But I do agree with your sentiment that once they show you what they got, yank them out.
Yeah, and we should specify that if they have a good time, like a good half or not half, but good drive or good series, it's like you don't need to see no more. I mean, that's how they played it with Zay Flowers last year, and I don't think they need to do it. I don't need to think they need
it. And he showcased that not only during the preseason, he was good during the regular season. So I mean,
right. And
he definitely gave you a double dosage
or whatever.
Right.
So he was fine. They need to be careful and need to handle this next week if they have the same sort of scenario happen. Same thing for Trenton Simpson. You don't need to leave him out there that long either. I'm not sure how long he stayed in the game, but I had some issues seeing the stream I was watching the game on. I had some issues with after halftime, so I really didn't see too much of what was going on in the third and fourth quarter. So Don will help us out with that. But I do know that Wiggins was in the game for at least a little
period of
for
time.
the third quarter.
Longer than he probably should have been.
Yeah.
So, I agree with that.
So just let's not do that again. Let's fix that, and let's replay that scenario better if we come across it again. That's all.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you.
That's probably the most. Sorry, last thing. That's probably the most concerning thing I'm taking away from this game tonight is leaving our valuable players out there longer than they should be.
So you don't have an issue with so you don't have any worries about the backup QB play from what you saw. Like what was your
again? I'm not, but I don't have any. No, I don't. I'm not significantly worried yet because again, I talked about it earlier. This is why he's a backup. I mean, we can't expect much more than him from him. And don't forget about this was a basic play call night for Todd Monken. I mean, we're not calling our best plays. We don't have our starters in there. So imagine Josh Johnson's play would probably be a little bit better if he was playing behind a Ravens starting offensive line or a Ravens just starting lineup in general. And Todd Monken would be calling the best plays to benefit Josh Johnson. I don't feel like they were doing that yesterday, and that's not a knock on Josh Johnson. That's just because it's preseason and, everybody's sort of calling vanilla type of stuff. So it's like, no, I'm not going to be concerned after one night of bad play. And yeah, I thought he had a couple nice reads, like especially what they were doing with Owen Wright on the first drive. I don't know, maybe that was just a blown coverage by the Eagles, but he had a nice throw in the flats out to the running back for a nice 15-yard gain. And plays were open too. I saw Josh Johnson miss a couple throws. He just would throw it at the feet of our player, or it got swatted at the line. and that all attests to the backups that we have in with the offensive line play. But yeah, him himself was not on target. But I'm not. No, to answer your question, I'm not overly concerned after one night. So we'll see what happens in the next week.
Okay, I think I can. Okay, I won't press the red button just yet, but I'm
You
like,
should.
if
First
I'm
game.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna press the red button just yet. But as I will hold judgment until after preseason 2. If I see the same thing preseason 2, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pressing the red button. And my concerns with that is, and like you said, they are backups, and I get that. I'm not asking them to, like I said, I'm not asking them to be Lamar Jackson Jr. When they're out there. My thing is that even when Lamar went down those back-to-back years, like, we still saw Tyler Huntley be serviceable. You know what I mean? It's not like he wasn't perfect either, but I felt as though he was still able to steadily maintain the offense and still get us down the field when we needed to in certain occasions. Now, I'm hoping that they show me something a little more in preseason 2, because I would like to know, and again, knock on wood, God forbid, I want Lamar Jackson to be 100% the whole season so we can have him all season. But in those circumstances, I would like to know that we have some sort of insurance back there like we have had in the past couple of years. Because I'm not gonna lie, Huntley spoiled me a little bit. You know what I mean? And he gave me a little confidence. Like, okay, maybe we have someone who can do what needs to be done to try to get the win. Remember the game we went to? You know what I mean? Remember that? And then I think Huntley was in that game, and he led them down to like a drive to win it. I forgot what team they were playing. What was it? The Seahawks?
Denver.
Or was the Panthers or something?
No,
Denver?
that
like that game was so bad, but Huntley
that was
got us. That game was absolutely terrible, but Huntley got us down the field to kick the game. I think we kicked the game winner, right? That was the game winner to win that one.
Touchdown.
It was a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's even better. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying in terms of having serviceability in the backup positions, I would just like that back. That's all I'm saying. So, like you said, I won't press the red button just yet, but I'm hoping that in preseason 2 they'll show us something a little bit more. That's all.
You know, I think to piggyback off your point and transition us, let's see a little bit more of Devin Leary. I would like to put him in with the starters for a little bit. Why not? It couldn't be any worse than yesterday. So it's like he had some nice throws. I mean, he had a nice back shoulder throw, I thought, to was it Tylan Wallace or was that Josh Johnson? I can't remember.
No,
that was
I
Josh.
think the back shoulder. No, I think the back shoulder throw. I think that actually might have been him, because I think the guy who caught it, last name Washington, I think.
Oh, it wasn't Tylan
No.
Wallace. Tylan Wallace the first half. I must be.
I think that catch didn't come until the second half, and that was from Leary to a guy named Washington. I don't know his first name.
Catch it all yesterday. No,
I don't think so.
I
have to check the stats. Check the stats. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember.
Anyway, I saw some nice plays from him. And even on that fourth down, nice little zip in there. Got the first down, got some yak, and then set us up for a first and goal. Or no, it set us up at the 20, and then he threw another pass that set us up for a first and goal. So I thought he was a little bit sharper last night than Josh Johnson. So we'll give him a shot. I mean, and he had a nice QB sneak for a touchdown to tie the game up. And then they took him out of the game. I would like to see him at the very end too.
I think he should start preseason too, in my opinion. I think he should get that start in the first half.
I remember Elliott missed the field goal, and then they had another guy in there. Was that the first?
Emory Jones. Yeah.
That was his first drive?
Yes. I think
Why would you? Whatever. It's preseason. I don't care. But anyway, let me pull up the stats here. I'm looking 6 for 10, 37 yards. I mean, so the yards weren't there, but he had a 60% completion percentage.
Yeah, I think we only finished the game with like 90 passing yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Or 12 for 62. So yeah, not very good. Now let me just check on that receiving thing. Yeah, Tylan Wallace had 2 catches for 26, so he did have that long 19-yard catch.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. And then Wade was the leading receiver with 27 yards on 4 catches. Chris Kirkwood, 1 for 19. And Owen Wright had that 17-yard reception in the first quarter. Okay, cool. And then another person I want to talk about was the running backs. And this is probably the last thing. I don't have too much more because we all know the outcome. They fumbled the football at the end of the game. That quarterback, I keep forgetting his name, number 10. Emory Jones. That sounds familiar. How old is he? Is he a rookie?
I don't know if he's a rookie, but I don't think he's that old.
Okay, well, yeah, he fumbled on his only snap of the game, so that was pretty crazy. Running backs. Owen Wright was the starter out of the gate, had a nice burst to start the game, and then followed up with a 17-yard catch. So it was like that whole drive, that whole field goal, those 3 points were all on him pretty much. So that was pretty nice to see. Rasheen Ali, I don't feel like he did much, did he?
I think he had like 1 or 2 decent runs.
10 for 26. Yikes.
Yeah. It wasn't really nothing eye-popping.
Now, that might be a testament to the offensive line blocking, but I just feel like he couldn't quite get going. I watched a couple carries from him because the stream was going in and out, and he was close to busting a few, like you said, but he would just get tripped up at the last second. So, I don't know. Running backs, not too inspiring. But like we said, Owen Wright leading on the team with 7 carries for 33 yards. I feel like he could have had more if they kept him in some more. But all of his carries, it felt like, were in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, he could get more opportunity in that preseason, too.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going against a different type of defensive line. Probably not that stout, so who knows? He could probably bust one if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see what his production is going to be. But yeah, I like what I saw from him. I think he's going to be a very steady RB3, with Keaton out. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, running backs were good. Very steady with them. I think again we just have to wait, see, analyze. How we feel about him. I think we should. I think we're gonna hold on criticism from Ali until we see what happens in preseason 2, how many snaps he's going to get. I think like we said, he almost had a couple of decent runs. Again, nothing eye-popping, but I think once he gets more opportunity, he'll be able to, really showcase his talent. So I'll pause for calls on him for now. But like you said, Owen Wright was that guy that you had your eye on. And, he almost had 5 yards a pop, that night. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. If he could be that guy that could give us that burst,
yep.
With Keaton being out, I'll take it.
Put him on the practice squad. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what his specialty is because he looks kind of big, but he also doesn't break too many tackles. He's just, I don't know. He might be sort of a do-it-all type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to see more of him. I didn't see too much of him since this was probably the most I've seen him since, last year when he was first put on this team, I guess. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more of him. Let's see if this offense can get going a little bit, more blocking. Let's see if Devin Leary can get some more starts or more time. But anyway, I'm not super – it wasn't a terrible showing by the Ravens. They didn't get the win, but it doesn't matter. I was just more excited about probably the biggest takeaway from me, by the way, would be to see how was the play of Nate Wiggins and Trenton Simpson. Those were probably my biggest takeaways.
Yeah, I think those are the highlights of the night, basically, because that game was if preseason had like a picture or video definition, that game would probably be it. There wasn't really anything to like be super excited about. Just letting us know that football is back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good start. But wasn't too much sneeze out with this game. Like I said, my main things are solid play, like you said, from Wiggins and Simpson. Looking forward to see what they can do in that regular season once we start to ramp up like actual starters versus starters play. Mm-hmm. Gonna pause my concern for backup QB play. Gonna see what they do for the rest of preseason. See what we got. So I'll put my pause on the red button for that. And my final thing is that I would like to see, and I know you said like these guys aren't the starters, but I would like to see a little more pressure from our backup. I mean, like it's backups going against backups. Like I would like to see a little more pressure from our backup defensive line, just to, just show us a little something, something. You know, what I mean, just give us something. I'm not saying you have to be great, but like I would like to see some guys get out, get back there. That's my.
Okay.
Those are probably my three takes.
Yeah, definitely fair enough. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. I believe our next game is against the Falcons
Yes.
home at 12 p.m. on Saturday. So that'll be cool. And then after that, we'll have one more we only have 2 more games of the preseason. Then it's time to get ready for the Chiefs.
Then we get ready.
Yeah.
Then we get ready.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We got that game first. But anyway, let's see if we get some more of the White House involved. I know Tez Walker didn't have any catches. Malik Cunningham, the converted quarterback, we'll see if they regret doing that, had 1 target. That was on the first drive, and that should have been a pick. I remember.
I know. That was.
Yeah, their first-round cornerback was it a first-rounder? It was
Quinyon Mitchell. I think that was Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell should have had a pick on it. It was terrible. So we'll see if Tez Walker can get involved, and some of these other guys. Gage had a target too. He did suit up. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they can do in the next game. But I don't have any more. I don't have any more.
No. All right.
I'm glad that we got through it. I'm reassured to hear that Nick Wiggins is probably going to be okay. Although I really wouldn't like for him to be out until week 1. I'd like him to be back on the practice field at least, hopefully soon.
I'm sure they'll grind him in slowly.
But
you know what I mean?
Okay, but now that he has an injury, this is my last point. I'm sorry, guys. No more preseason. We don't need to see it no more. We don't need to see it anymore. You're fine. You shut down some people. And John Ross, if that's really John Ross, was a former starter. That was a former first-round pick by the Bengals. So, nice job. We don't need to see no more. I mean, I'd like to have him fresh and ready for this Chiefs game.
I mean, I can't disagree with you there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Atlanta. We'll probably get more information about Nate Wiggins most likely on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Ravens already released their media scheduling for training camp, so I'm sure we'll hear from John Harbaugh on Monday, see what he has to say, and see how we go from moving forward. Guys, let us know your thoughts on the Ravens preseason week 1. How are your rookies doing? I saw some rookie QBs out there between today. J.J. McCarthy had a touchdown today. I know Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, they had their debuts, their preseason debuts. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Gonz, any more final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Nope.
No.
Be smart, Ravens. Be smart. That's all I got to say.
All right, guys. Well, that'll be it for us this evening. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dom and Gonz Sports Talk. We'll probably see you guys next week to discuss Atlanta coming to Baltimore for preseason week 2. We'll have all that insight for you and then some before the game. I'm Dom. That's Gonz. We'll catch you guys next week. We're signing off.
And go Ravens.